Hey everybody, this is Chessman, aka David, and today we're going to be analyzing a game between Magnus Carlsen and Gukesh. Um, Basically, one of the things with my whole chess um, career is I want to get better at analyzing games. I'm not that good at it. I usually need help from a grandmaster or some commentators or something. So I really want to set aside some time where we're really trying to analyze these games and really trying to figure out why these moves are so good. So we're going to start today. All right. So if you haven't seen my stream already, I use 365chess.com quite a bit, and I just want to show you where I get the games. Sometimes I get the games from chess.com, and sometimes I get them from here. Um, if you go to 365chess.com, you can look up players and you can look up chess tournaments and then get the games from them. So if you go 365chess.com and you scroll to the bottom of the page, there's players by rating and there's also tournaments. I got here by clicking players by rating. I clicked on Magnus Carlsen. It gives you the best players in the world starting from first all the way down to I don't know how many. But I click on Magnus Carlsen. And then it gives a description of Magnus Carlsen. And it also says the last tournaments that he's played. Today we're looking at the Clutch Chess Champions, which he played in October. There were 4 competitors: Magnus Carlsen, Fabiano Caruana, and Hikaru Nakamura and Gukesh. Magnus Carlsen won that event with 12.5 points. And so the game we're looking at came from round 1, Gukesh versus Magnus. And what you can do on this website is you can click on the game. What I'm doing is I click on the game. And it loads up. Sorry if it's a little slow. The CPU has a hard time doing all these things while the recording is going on, so sometimes it's a little slow. But anyway, when you get to the game, you can review the game first of all. Second of all, there's this download button, and you can download the PGN. I've already done this. I just wanted to show you how you can get games. And basically, what I'm doing is, so I'm just gonna. What you do is you push this download button, but I've already done it, so I'm just gonna exit, and then it shows you your downloads from here. Actually, it would have if I'd clicked on download. But anyways, you open it and it comes in a PGN format. It comes in a PGN, which is right here. And all you do from there is you go to Chess.com and you go to analysis, which I'm at, and it pops up this page. And what you do is you copy and paste this entire thing. Copy right into here. And you click add games. And it puts the whole game in there. And it shows it's Gukesh and Carlsen, shows their rating and everything. It's pretty cool. And well, first let's just briefly look at the game real quick, just because I think it's better if we look at the whole game real quick, and if we notice anything out of the ordinary, I don't know, like if we notice a big blunder or something, I think it's good to do that at first. So let's just look at the game real quick. After, I'm going to use review here. So let's just look at the game just in case we haven't seen it already. I've seen this live, so e4, d6, d4. It's a Pierce defense. and that's the end of the game. Now, spoiler alert. I watched this game on the live coverage, so I know that Gukesh lost because he ran out of time. So it doesn't mean he was losing the position, even though it looks pretty bad. You can see that Magnus is threatening checkmate and the queen. But I know from the live coverage that apparently knight to e3 is a saving move. And the reason is, first off, it defends mate. But what happens is, after knight takes queen, rook takes a1, and then this pawn is going to queen. So Gukesh is able to make a draw. But he lost on time, so he lost the game. All right. So I didn't really notice anything out of the ordinary by going through that game like that. So I'm not that good at analyzing games. I'm not that good at. I'm trying to get better. I hope this will improve my ability to find tactics if they're pointed out to me. Then hopefully I'll be able to find them if I really look. I'm not really sure. I just hope my ability to find the tactics and the positional moves and stuff will get better. So anyway, I'm going to use the help of the review from Chess.com. So if you have Chess.com, at the bottom of the analysis page, there's this review button, and you click on it, and it loads the game. I have Gotham Chess as the annotator. It takes a minute to load. %. So I'm going to use my experience. I'm going to use the help of the review. The review. Tough break for white, but hey, learning from losses is key. Let's dive in. Okay. So like I said, I'm going to be using what I know from chess, my experience, and I'm going to be also using the help of Gotham Chess here to help me figure out these moves. And I saw a video somewhere from a coach that said you have to use your brain. So I'm going to try to use my brain, and hopefully God is with us today and help my brain figure out what these moves are all about. Because a lot of times when I see moves, I'm clueless. So I do see that their accuracies were 91%. So not a perfect game. Compared to what they usually play, this is far from it. They usually score like 98%. There was 4 inaccuracies by Gukesh, 3 by Magnus, 1 mistake from each, 1 missed opportunity by Magnus. So, and it says Gukesh's game rating was 2,700 and Magnus's was 2,800. It says that the openings went well. The accuracy was 100. So you can definitely take the information from the opening and add that to what you might want to learn for your opening repertoire. It says the middle game was 88.7 accuracy for Gukesh and 88.4 for Magnus. So it could be that Gukesh was slightly better in the position, even though he had 1 more inaccuracy than Magnus. So let's click Start Review and see what we can learn. All right, so he says it's a solid move, so that tells us it's a solid move. I know from experience and from what I know from chess that the reason why e4 is a good move is because it helps control the center, controls these 2 squares, and it helps develop the bishop. We just don't know where the bishop's going to go yet. All right, so if you click this button here, it skips a bunch of moves until it gets to the key points. I don't want to do that. I want to figure out every move, so I'm just going to go through each move one at a time. So I'm going to try to take this slow. So again, e4, we know that's a good move. It helps control the center, and it opens a line for the bishop. So next move.
The perk defense is a typical hyper-modern opening, conceding space in the center to prepare a counterattack.
All right. So d6, he says it's conceding space in the center to prepare a counterattack. So there'll be a counterattack at some point, hopefully. It also opens a line for the bishop to come out. I'm assuming we're going to be seeing e5 because this is supporting that, or c5. So, but it's a book move. If it's brown like this, it means it's a book move. All right, next move.
White's claiming space. This is the perk in action, folks.
All right, so d4 claims more space. It controls more of the center, and it helps develop this bishop. All right, so far so good.
Ooh, developing the knight, and it eyes White's undefended e4 pawn. Spicy.
All right, so develops a piece, controls some of the center, and happens to attack this pawn, e4. So it's a good move.
Jumping the knight into the game and defending the pawn.
All right, so this develops another piece, but also defends this pawn and controls another square in the center. So that pretty much had to be played because it had to defend this pawn. The only other moves I could see is either bishop, queen, or pawn to defend that pawn. Next move.
That strikes at the center with a pawn, trying to gain space.
Okay, so strikes the center with a pawn and tries to gain space. So that's the point of this move. You can also develop the bishop here to e7. This attacks this pawn, but it's defended by the queen. So that'd be an even trade. All right, next move.
Creating the threat to capture a pawn and win material after the follow-up trades.
Creating the threat to capture a pawn. So that's d takes e5, d takes e5, probably trade queens. Queen takes, king takes, and then knight takes e5. So this move, knight f3, threatens to win a pawn. All right.
Knight bd7 develops the knight toward the center and supports the knight on f6 and the pawn on e5.
So this develops the knight towards the center, supports the knight on f6, and the pawn on e5. So this is protected now so that you can't win a pawn now. Takes, 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 takes. But you could still take the queen, and at least black would lose castling rights. Right? Takes, takes. Actually, but you'd lose a knight, so never mind, that won't work. So you could take, but you can't take again because you'd lose a knight. So this does a good job, even though it blocks in the bishop. But maybe the bishop will go out this way. All right, next move.
That's putting pressure with a threat to win material through an eventual fork.
Puts pressure with a threat. So I'm guessing it puts pressure on the f7 pawn. I'm guessing that's what he means by it's putting pressure. But it says with a threat to win material through an eventual fork. So it doesn't tell us what the fork is. And I don't see it. And a lot of times it'll have a button that will show what the tactic is, but it's not here. So let's see. Let's see if we can find the fork. through an eventual fork. Huh. Let's see. Takes. I don't see it. But, and also apparently white is up 0.47. So white has a slight advantage so far. Yeah, I don't see the fork. I can't find it. If you see it, put it in the comments. Alright, next move.
This rules out the option to win material through an eventual fork.
So this stops the fork. So that's why this move was necessary. Now, why does that stop the fork? So it takes, whoops, takes, check. King goes back here. You'd win the queen. Maybe that's what it was. I'm not sure. Alright, let's keep going.
That gets the king out of dodge and develops a rook. 2 birds, 1 stone.
Alright, so there's nothing specific about this move, as in to the position. There's no tactic or anything. It's just brings the king to safety and develops a rook. The rook can come to e1. So that's the point of that move.
Both sides of castle. Let the middle game begin.
Doesn't say why that's a good move, but I'm assuming it's a similar reason. Puts the king to safety and the rook can develop to e8. Next move.
Textbook play. Following the greats, building a solid game.
Doesn't tell us why this is a good move. Gain space. It's part of the opening, so but it gains space, puts pressure on the square. Maybe threatens b5. Just gains space. Stops. Well, makes it harder to play a6 in b5. So to me, white didn't know where to put this bishop. Didn't know if you wanted to pin. Didn't know if you wanted to put on g5, on e3, or d2. So instead played a4. All right.
Textbook play. Solid start to the game.
Again, doesn't tell us why this is a good move. This is the problem with the review thing on Chess.com is it doesn't always tell you why it's a good move. What the point of the move was. Just so you have to use your brain and try to figure it out. Because there's no grandmaster, there's nothing, no one here to tell you. That's why you should watch chess tournaments live where there's commentators, because a lot of times they explain why moves are good. Maybe in chess books as well, but I think it's easier when it's a video. The only thing I can say about this move is it opens a line for the queen. Maybe they want to try b5 with some more help, maybe with a6, maybe with rook to b8. Because the bishop's got to develop somewhere, so if you move this pawn either to b6 or b5, the bishop can get out. Also, maybe you're planning on going d5 in the future, so you got help with c6. So those are all the reasons I can come up with. So next move.
Textbook keeps things solid.
Just keeps things solid. Brings the rook on the center file, just in case it opens up. So basically, it tells us all those other pieces are fine. It's just what to do now. So put the rook on the open file. It might open up. So again, I can't wait till we get to moves that have a tactical reason instead of just a generic improving your position, keeping things flexible, because that's all this is. It keeps things flexible. Um, and that's moves in chess, and a lot of times that's what you do in real life. You do things that keeps things flexible, like drinking more water. That can only help you. It can keep you hydrated, and it's water, so your body doesn't have to get rid of the sugars, or it doesn't have to. It doesn't really have to do as much work to process the water. Um, so yeah, so rook to e1. That's just, there's no real reason behind it. It's just, and you're putting an extra defender on this pawn. So maybe this knight wants to move. Okay, next move.
Clever move. Giving the king some breathing room. That's what I call creating left.
See, so again, there's nothing to me that tells me that there's really nothing to do in this position. The pieces are where they want to be, but you have to make moves. So he says this creates left, so it creates a place for the king to go in case there's a back rank issue where black could checkmate the king through the back rank. Now we can't. It takes a square away from the knight and the bishop. Can't go there anymore. So those are the reasons why you make that move to me. Next move.
That's a spicy left maneuver. Giving the king some breathing room with that escape square.
Again, white's just going, I got nothing to do, so I might as well push h3 and give some space for my king. Did the same thing as black. So this just tells me the pieces are fine where they are at. So the question is, how do you make moves? How do you make progress?
Textbook play. Following the greats, building a solid game.
Again, doesn't give us a reason. It just puts a rook in the center in case it opens up. So again, there's nothing to do in this position, is what it tells me. There are no tactics. There's no positional real moves to make. It's just what can you do without hurting your position. And this thing says that white has an advantage of plus 0.59. But it might as well say zeros because there's no forceful way to make progress yet. No one's made a mistake. All right, according to this, we're out of the book moves now.
Developing the bishop and increasing influence in the center. Let's go.
All right, it says it's a good move, which means there was a better move. I don't know what it was. Okay, so it develops the bishop and increases influence in the center. It helps defend this pawn, it says. It says the best move was a5. So a5 was the best move, grabbing more space. It does say show follow-up move, so I'm going to push it to see what it tells us. All right, so at least tells us that if black takes, the best move is to take with the queen. Okay. And again, it was a good move, not a great move. The best move was a5. And let me just push this button to see what it does. Okay, so it tells us the best would have been a5. Okay, that's all it tells us. So, and again, by the other moves, we know that there was nothing really to do in this position. All the pieces are kind of where they need to be, so it's how do you make progress? And so just a small pawn push to increases the advantage just by a little bit. Gains a little bit of space, and that's all there was to do in the position.
Developing the bishop and increasing influence in the center. Let's
But
go.
so we got that move. The next move.
Solid trade, nothing crazy. Keeps things balanced.
Okay, so it says it's a solid trade, so it was good to trade. We already know that the best move is for the queen to take. That's what it tells us here too. We'll push follow up just to see what it tells us. And that's it. All right. But
Spicy recapture.
instead, white captures with the bishop, which was a good move, but not as good. The advantage went from like 0.59 or 0.46 to 0.31, so it was a mistake. It wasn't considered a mistake, not a big enough error to be a mistake. But still, the queen would have been better. Maybe just to develop the queen. Maybe that's why it was better. Let's push it and take a look at it.
Solid recapture. Developing a new piece. White's not messing around.
All right, so the queen taking is better because it develops a new piece. It connects the rooks. And apparently there is nothing like I'm looking at c5 attacking the queen, but apparently it's still better to go this way. Maybe you just drop back here or here, and the rooks are still connected. This pawn is looking weak. It's only protected once. So maybe that's something in the game. All right. So anyway,
Spicy recapture.
takes with the bishop. Next move. So I wonder why this wasn't as good as a move. Well, because it doesn't develop another piece. That's probably the reason. So white could have used that move to develop, but didn't. But it's not a huge issue. Okay.
Not the sharpest move. Something spicier was on the table.
Okay. So that apparently was a big inaccuracy. Brings the advantage to 0.76 for white. I don't understand why. It didn't tell us why. It says show follow up, so let's see why it's bad. Let's see what the best move is for. So it's saying the best move to take advantage. Wait a minute, let's look at that again. I kind of missed it. Show follow up. So bishop retreating and queen coming out. This is 0.76 advantage for white. Why was this so good? Let's see what it says when we push best. So the best move was for the knight to go here. That was it appears to be the only good move. I could be wrong though. So, but it's the best move. So why is this the best move? I mean, to me, the bishop can get out now to where here, I guess, and then maybe these get traded off. That would be an improvement for black. I could see that. And basically, why I think in general that would be a good strategy is because white has control. It looks like that white has more control over the center. This bishop plays a part in controlling the center. So this piece does not. And this piece does not. So by trading this bishop for this bishop, you take away a piece that has control of the center. All right. And also this knight it's a flexible move, I think, because the knight can come to g6 or e6. So it's flexible. It could also go to h7. So I think that's why this was the best move. It says from here, white should play a5. So taking more space seems to be the best way to advance. Maybe it cramps black's queen side a bit. Let's see if we can learn any more. All right, so again, the best move from here is for bishop to go to a2. Let's see what's actually played.
Not the sharpest move. Gotta be honest.
Okay, so this knight d2 was an inaccuracy, and it brings the advantage from 0.76 down to 0.28, so back to level pretty much. And it it still wasn't a totally bad move, but so keeping the knight here would have been better, and bringing the bishop back was the best move. We'll push showfall up just to. Okay. All right, that was a long line to follow. Let's watch it one more time. So this forces this uh, the move that can be played that is best apparently is d5, and then there's a lot of trades. So let's watch it one more time. You have to take because the bishop's attacked, and the rooks come off. Knight takes, knight comes back. Bishop takes the knight, knight takes, and bishop comes back. And it's only a 0.28 advantage for white, so pretty much a draw. So it gives away the advantage. Okay. All right. For some reason, the audio isn't working anymore with Levy, so I'll just read it myself. All right. Next move. So it's level again. That was an accuracy that could have been taken advantage of, and it was missed.
Now that knight controls more of the board.
All right. The knight controls more of the board. That's why it was a good move. But it wasn't the best move. Let's see what the best move was. All right, so the best move. Oh, right. We already know this. The best move was d5. But so we already saw that. All right. So
Now that knight controls more of the board.
all right. So again, it was a good move, not the best move. And it controls more of the board. It controls more squares literally. So there's no tactic, even though it's attacking this pawn, this bishop, and we can also take the knight, and then you'd have to capture with the rook or the pawn. Let's see. I think the best will just tell us that it was d5. Right.
Now that knight controls more of the board.
So it controls more of the board. So there's nothing tactically that this does, even though it attacks a bishop. So it just controls more of the board. So I can't. Again, I'm waiting for the moves to be tactical reasons. Like you can't play this because it wins this, or you got to play this to avoid mate, or something, or to avoid a loss of a pawn. So far, most of the moves have just been general improving moves. All right.
This sets up the threat to kick a knight.
Okay. All right. Bishop to f1 says it's the best move. I like it because it avoids trading material, especially trading one of the bishops. The bishops are supposed to be slightly better in most situations. So if you traded the bishop for the knight, it would eliminate future potential for the bishop to be better than the knight. Okay. So this sets up the threat to kick a knight. So okay. If we would have played f4 immediately, then the knight could just take the bishop. So it doesn't work. But now that the bishop's not there, we can kick the knight. I'll push show idea kicking piece. So it looks like the best move is the knight to retreat to g6 and then develop the queen to f3. Visually, it looks better for white now that the queen is here. And you got more center control with the f pawn, as long as your king isn't weak. But with all the pieces on the back row, In these knights contained, I don't see anything. All right. All right. So white wants to play f4. Let's see what.
This
All
move is
right.
an absolute banger.
Okay, what I see is white was going to kick the knight and force the knight to go back here anyways. So why not do it? Says it's the best move. So to me, you play this because now you were preparing to move. You had to move it back anyways if f4 was played. So why not do it? Okay, next move.
Solid move.
Finally, they play a5. It says excellent move, so it makes me believe that there's still a move that was better, the best move. And actually, there's an option to see it right here. So let's see what the best move was.
Connected rooks working together like a well-oiled machine.
So again, there is no tactical reason for queen f3. It just improves the piece and connects the rooks. So again, no tactical reason for this move. It doesn't mean you're going to win the game. It just improves the piece in a way where it's not going to be targeted by a piece. The queen's not going to be targeted by black's army, but also connects these rooks in case that's useful. And a lot of times it is. Let's click show follow-up to see what it thinks black would do. So bishop. All right, so it doesn't tell us what to do after bishop to e6, but it says bishop e6 is the best move after that. All right, so let's see what actually was played.
Solid move.
All right, so again, the a5, grabbing more space, was still an excellent move, but not the best move. The best move was queen to f3. So you got to learn from this. Developing the queen and connecting the rooks in this situation is more important than grabbing more space. It's a slight difference. It's only slight. Like, there's still no mistakes in the game yet. No real mistakes. All right, let's see what the next move is.
Black develops the bishop and attacks the center.
All right, this is a good move. It says it's the best move, and it's because it develops a piece and it attacks the center. It attacks d5. Okay, so maybe we're going to play d5. Let's show follow-up. Okay, it just shows. So the best move for white to play again is queen f3, connecting these rooks. Let's see if it gets played.
Spicy meatball right here, yo.
So apparently g3 is an excellent move. It doesn't tell us why, it just says spicy meatball right here, yo. We know the best move is queen f3, connecting the rooks. But again, it's tough because we want to play the best move, which is connect the rooks. But at the same time, it doesn't force a win in any way. It doesn't force a winning advantage in any way. Black still has to make mistakes. So we played g3. The only thing I can see with g3 is it weakens this pawn, but it also keeps the knight out from coming in to the end of these squares. But now this bishop has to remain defending this pawn. Either that or the king has to go there to defend. So maybe, this is my guess, maybe black playing queen to d7 is a good move, putting pressure on this pawn. That might be a good move. And it would also connect black's rooks. All right, let's go next move.
Boom, best move right here, right now.
Best move. It attacks the center. See, again, it doesn't tell us why it's the best move. I wish it did. But so you have to use your sense of what you know about chess and what you've heard about chess and your brain. You have to do both. So what I've heard from chess is taking control of the center is important. If you can play d5 as black without any bad things happening to you, you should do it. That makes equality usually. So let's see what the follow-up is. That was a long follow-up. Let's watch it one more time. I wish we could make it go slower. All right, so I was gonna think if white took the pawn, maybe you take with the knight because you don't want an isolated pawn, and then the knight takes, and then the bishop takes. That way you get to keep your bishop, and this pawn isn't here being an isolated pawn. Okay, but instead pushing is better. So let's look at the follow-up again. Push, and then push, and then takes. Knight attacks the pawn, grabs the pawn, the queen grabs that pawn. Knight takes, I think it was a bishop, and then captures. So anyway, this position, white only has 0.28 advantage. I mean, to me, I see this queen is more active. This queen is not more active. It's putting pressure onto this pawn. So this knight still is restricted by this pawn. So what I see is this pawn needs to be protected. So probably c3. So it's an even game. All right. Let's see what actually happened. So
Developing that bishop fianchetto style is a classic power move.
so white sacrificed some advantage, and instead of pushing, even not much though, it was only 0.28. Now it's 0.16. So only a tempi, or I don't know what it's called when it's 0.1. I don't. I knew that I can't remember what it's called. Anyways, so it says the best move was to push. That would seem to trade a lot of material though. So in my opinion, maybe this is better. But according to the engine, the other way was better. Okay, let's. All right, why is this a good move? Develops the bishop. It says developing the bishop fianchetto style. Is a classic power move. So hopefully it has some usefulness to be on this long diagonal. Let's see what the follow-up is. So basically a lot of captures. All right. We already know what the best move was. The best move was e5. All right, so let's go to the next move.
Losing a pawn? Ouch.
So this was a mistake. Apparently, black loses a pawn because of this move. Let's see if we can find it ourselves. Let's see. Is it this pawn? Takes, 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 take. Or do we take this knight first? The only pawn I can see that we would be taking is the d5 pawn. So let's see. Takes. Say capture with the pawn. There's one, two attackers on that pawn. I don't see it. I don't quite see it. So let's see what it says. Show follow-up. All right, I think you have to be a grandmaster to see that, or at least an international master for sure. I probably would not see that all like that in a game for sure. Even now, I don't remember what it was. Let's look at it one more time, just to practice. So takes, take pawn, take pawn, take. I remember that. Take, then take the rook first. Takes, knight attacks, queen moves, take the pawn. He takes the pawn. Queen is up. Let's see, white has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pawns. Black has 4 pawns. Okay. That was 1, 2. That was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 full moves, which is really 18 moves. All right. Let's see what actually happened. So that happened.
Ouch. This overlooks an opportunity to win material through a tactic.
All right. So the best move to win a pawn was was bishop takes knight in that long sequence we saw, but white did not see that. It was a big missed opportunity and inaccuracy. Instead, he pushed a6. Why did he play a6? What? I guess if black takes, you take with the rook, and then you're putting pressure on this pawn. And I guess, I don't know, maybe it softens the diagonal up, and maybe it would make this bishop more useful. But okay, so I'm guessing black would probably push instead of take. This pawn might be a weakness. Now, all right, let's see what happened.
Boom! Black is gonna snag a pawn. What a steal!
So it says black is going to snag a pawn. So apparently this is. Let's look at the tactic. One, two, three, four, five. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I don't quite get it because it looks like black could still take this pawn. White could still take this pawn. So I don't quite get it. But it says the advantage is 0.674 for white, which is quite a bit, but it's still not. I don't think it's a winning advantage. So because this pawn is doubled, I'm guessing it's still not enough to win. All right. So let's see what happened.
Boom! Black is gonna snag a pawn. What a steal!
But apparently there was a better move. Let's see what the best move was. So the best move was to push. So I was right. The best move was to push. And let's look at the follow-up. So just trading these 2 pawns. And who knows, maybe this pawn's a weakness. Maybe it's not. I mean, the bishop's in a good position. It's the pawn, in a way, can't move forward because you drop the rook. But on the other hand, it's got 1, 2, 3 defenders already, and just 2 attackers. Of course, you could take this knight. But they could take this knight. So I don't see an immediate way, or even a long-term way, how this pawn would be captured. But maybe this bishop's not that good because it's stuck defending this pawn. I'm not sure. But that would have been the best. All right.
Boom! Black is gonna snag a pawn. What a steal!
Let's see what the next move was.
Bullseye.
All right, so it told us that was the best move, and the best move, I believe, is for the pawn. Actually, no, that was if the pawn pushed. Let's look at the follow-up. So a lot of trades. Let's see what happened in the game. Knight did take. Let's see if knight did take. Bishop did take.
This move is the only one that works.
Rook,
Fine.
just like we saw, rook takes, queen takes, bishop takes. he takes. Then apparently take this pawn. Let's look at the follow up because I think it doesn't. I don't think we're gonna get what. Let's see what the follow up is. All right, knight develops. Okay, and then bishop takes. All right. All right. So let's see what really happened. So he took.
They'll snag a pawn. Nice.
All right, so they'll snag a pawn. Let's see how white will snag a pawn. Even though it did say the best move was knight f3. But let's see. So just taking this pawn. Okay. So let's see where the bishop goes.
Whew, that bishop is now in a safe zone.
But it said the best move was for the bishop to go to d6. But I guess maybe he didn't want to be attacked by the rook if the rook took. Well, let's look at the follow-up. Okay. So the queen had to come here. Okay, so this queen was defending this pawn, but the queen coming here made it so the rook could take. All right. So the bishop goes.
Now in a safe zone. Looks like they overlooked the chance to centralize a knight so it controls more squares.
So slight inaccuracy. The best move would have been knight f3 first. So nothing big. There's no, we're not losing a pawn, we're not losing a rook, not losing anything. It was just centralizing the knight was better. Because apparently we're going to win this pawn either way. Okay, so just a minute difference, not huge. So I almost think it's too much to call it inaccuracy. Like the computer is really being precise here. All right.
There was only one good move, and that was it.
So that was the only good move. Interesting. So no other. So what? What was the tactic? It must be because this rook is threatening to take this pawn. So now, at least you get to take this pawn. Let's look at the follow-up. Okay, so just defending the rook and the pawn. So let's see if that was played.
Whew, that rook is now in a safe zone.
No. Instead defended the pawn with the rook. I'm guessing
That defends the rook.
maybe this is better because you're putting more pressure on this pawn. It says the best move, let's see, is for the queen to go here, attacking the knight. 3, 4, 5 to 4. So white would be up a pawn here, but it's still only 0.21 advantage. All right, so rook defends.
Not the best move. There was something much better available.
All right, so not the best move. See, I see that now the bishop's not attacking it, not attacking the pawn. Let's see what the best. Well, it says the best move was e7. Let's look at the follow-up. All right. So basically, developing the knight, and keeping pressure on this pawn. But it definitely looks like a draw. So let's. So we're at move 24. Let's. So a.
There was something much better available. Offering Piece is interesting. Let's see what happens.
Says it was the best move. Let's look at the follow-up. It must be just... Oh, so avoiding the trade and attacking the knight is best. Let's see if that happens.
Gotta move that queen.
Yeah. And
This
yep.
threatens to eventually win a pawn.
This threatens to win a pawn. It must be this pawn. No, maybe not. Well, I don't see any other pawn. Let's look at the tactic. Let's look at it one more time. I missed the first move. All right. So this threatens. Let's see if it actually happens.
This rules out the option to eventually win a pawn.
So this missed the win of a pawn. Oh, this rules out the option to eventually win a pawn. So let's see why. Okay, so
This rules out the option to eventually win a pawn.
and I'm not sure why. Oh, it must be because the queen's defending the rook. Is it now if you go e4, do you take with the bishop? Or do you still take the pawn? Queen takes. Maybe you don't have to take it all. I'm not sure. Take with the bishop. You could take, but then you lose this bishop. I think that's the key. So now if you go b4, bishop takes. If you take the bishop, we get this bishop. Okay, and I think I remember seeing this live on live coverage. So, all right. So,
That white backward pawn.
ooh, and it was played. Let's look at the follow-up. Interesting. But white, it says zeros, so no advantage. Huh. Let's see if it's played.
That white backward pawn could become a target.
Yep, it's played.
To win material by pinning a piece to the king.
So it says zeros, but there's a big threat. Sets up the threat to win material by pinning a piece to the king. So let's look at the pin. Let's show it. That's mate. King can't go here, can't go here, can't go here, and is stuck there. So it threatens mate. It says to pick, a piece, right? It says to win material, but it's actually to mate. So let's see what happens.
This sets up the... That attack wins the tempo, forcing the queen to boogie.
Okay.
This one wins material.
It says wins material. Let's see again. Oh. One, two. So black would be up a pawn. It still says zeros, but I don't know if it's. Maybe it doesn't show what it is when it's when you push that button. All right. So let's see it again. So the best move is knight here, and then black takes the pawn. Let's see if it happens.
Spicy. That pawn was just sitting there waiting to be snatched up.
Okay, so white. It said knight e3 was the move, but now it says the best move was to take the pawn. Let's look at the follow-up. It's just to pin the knight. Let's see if they do it.
Spicy. That pawn was just sitting there waiting to be snatched up. Looks like they overlooked the chance to pin a knight to the king.
So it says pinning the knight was a better move. So this was an inaccuracy by Magnus. But I mean, it's a pawn, so it's tough to overlook. So let's see what happened.
Big oof, that move is not the one.
So this is big oof. They lost about 0.50 advantage. So it's finally in it's the first time black has any kind of advantage, but it's just 0.03. So let's look at the follow-up. Why was this a big mistake or a mistake? So it's all about pinning this knight. Let's look at it one more time because that was kind of fast. So pin, queen defends, bishop, hex the bishop. Let's see. It says this was brilliant. Why is it brilliant? If bishop takes, you can't take the bishop because then queen would take the knight. Or actually rook would take the knight. That's checkmate. So this bishop can't be taken. Well, it can't be taken by the queen. All right, let's... Why was that a great move? Maybe because there was no other move. Can't push... Maybe it was to defend the bishop. I don't know. No, not to defend the bishop. Well, the queen has to stay on this diagonal to defend the knight. Yeah, that's it. The bishop took the bishop. Pawn takes. All right.
Big oof, that move is not the one.
So instead, the move was queen to d1, stopping the rook from getting here. Let's see what... And that would have been 0.58 advantage for white. Let's see what the follow-up would have been. Basically getting queens off the board. And white has this passed pawn. And is attacking this pawn. So you can't move the knight. This rook is active. That's the good thing. It might be able to come here and take this pawn. But it stops the knight from moving. And yeah. All right. Let's...
Creating the threat to checkmate the king.
Let's show checkmate. That's checkmate. All right.
This keeps the opponent from being able to checkmate the king. Sacrificing the bishop was brilliant. This move is the only one that works. What a find.
Let's show follow-up. And this keeps the game even. Let's see if that actually happened.
Even Steven trade, nothing crazy.
Yep. Pawn takes. Then rook to a1. Huh.
This loses material.
Wow. A huge blunder by white. This loses material. This is negative 4.54. Huge advantage for Magnus. I'm guessing they were low on time at this point. Let's see what the follow-up is. So Magnus would have won a rook. And it has this great attack. I'm guessing you're going to grab this pawn. And basically you got a rook for the knight. It's amazing it's that big of a deficit, though. So what was the best move? The best move was just to move the queen to e2. The follow-up. Three pawns to three pawns. So that would have been a draw. Best play, it's a draw. Okay, so instead we got the blunder.
This loses material. They skipped over the better option to win material through a tactic.
Alright, so going to knight h4 would have won the rook. That's basically what it, and we saw that. We'll see that. We'll look at the tactic again. Showed him his tactic. Right, pawn takes queen, queen, then queen takes the rook.
They skipped over the better option to win material through a tactic. They skipped over the better option to win material through a tactic.
And again, I have no way of knowing this except I saw it in the game. Actually, let's see if we can. I don't know if my computer can handle it, but okay. Basically, they said that the move to keep the game going was here. Let's see if the analysis will tell us what the rating is. My computer might be too slow. I might not be able to do it. Draws, zeros. So Gukesh could have drawn the game if he had had more time on his clock. So basically, knight takes the queen, and then you take this rook, and then this pawn is going to queen. So Gukesh could have saved the draw. All right. I think that was a pretty good game. Well, it was a good game in a sense that there weren't very many inaccuracies. It wasn't until they got low on time. And in fact, again, even at the last moment, Gukesh still could have drawn the game. He just lost on time. So it was a very good game for both sides. Well, if you didn't get to see the game, at least you got to enjoy the game, hopefully through this. There was actually, I rewatched the tournament recently, and there was a lot of good games. So I'm torn between analyzing more of those games or to switch to the Rapid and Blitz championship that's going on, or that just went on. So there's a lot of games to cover, so there'll definitely be more videos. I just got to decide which games to pick. I'm just not sure. If you have a preference or a specific game or something, I mean, leave it in the comments and I'll try to find it. If you can start using 365chess.com and find games yourself, then maybe you can tell me if you find an interesting game or not. But this was good. I think we got a lot out of it. I can't wait to do more. If you haven't already, please like and subscribe. And I hope you enjoy your day and have a good one. Bye.